Hello, and welcome back to another video. I'm Renee, and this week I'll be guiding you through this fourth module in the Creating a Positive Environment series, this time on enriching environments. By now, you already have the tools to make big improvements to the environments of the people you support by increasing your positivity, pairing, and providing choices. Enriching the environment takes these ideas a little bit further. It makes sure that the people we support have the option to be fully engaged, constantly exposed to new things, and learning from their staff, peers, and their experiences. This video will take about 20 minutes to complete, and you will be given some time to practice the technique during the week. The quality of a person's life depends largely on their environment, the places where they live, work, and play. The environment also includes the people they interact with on a day-to-day basis and the quality of these interactions. Which of these two environments would you like to spend time in? Let's assess where your starting point is with this concept. Please take out your data sheet. Refer to the graphic for what the data sheet looks like and where you should write your answers. List different ways you can enrich the environment for the individuals you support. Write your response on your data sheet. You have 30 seconds. How many ways did you come up with? Continue on with the module to learn some more. When setting up an environment to make it more motivating for an individual, you can ask the following questions. 1. Does the environment have lots of choices or options available? When you walk in the common area, are there shelves with bins, lists of options, choice boards, and activity stations? For example, sensory station, art station, learning station, free access items, etc. 2. Is the environment inclusive for those with different abilities? Based on the skill level of each person supported, staff is present to assist with preferred activities. For example, a person supported chooses to be at the arts and crafts station, however has limitations with fine motor skills. To help, staff can cut the paper, and the individual can glue the shapes themselves to make their craft. Another example is a person chooses to participate at the exercise station, however has limitations with gross motor skills. To help, staff can assist by participating with the individual and make modifications to exercises as required. 3. Are the person's preferred items in the environment, or are they more neutral or non-preferred items? It is important to identify items that are highly preferred by the person supported, as they increase an individual's motivation to participate in activities. Here are a few examples for Katie, someone living in a supported living home. There's multiple different types of tabletop activities laid out. Katie approaches and looks at the activities and walks away without engaging. From this interaction, we can conclude that at this time, tabletop activities would be considered non-preferred activities for Katie. There are tabletop activities and a sensory table in the environment. Katie likes watching the staff engage in the sensory bin, especially when they add food coloring to change the color of the water. However, she walks away as soon as the staff has no more food coloring. This is considered a neutral activity because there is minimal engagement in contrast to no engagement at all. Katie, who enjoys reading, enters the environment and sees a reading station with different books, a sensory station, and tabletop activities. She approaches the reading station, picks up a book, and sits on the couch to read independently until lunch. Although Katie required minimal staff interaction to engage in the activity, staff are still present to assist in reading certain vocabulary as needed. This is considered a preferred activity because there is independent engagement. These examples show us that tabletop activities were non-preferred, sensory bin activities were neutral, and reading was the preferred or good activity for Katie. 4. Are the preferred items sometimes freely accessible, or are they always tied to a demand, work, or instruction? Here are examples of when preferred items are rewards for completing tasks. Salim, let's finish your exercises and then you can read a book in your room. Salim, eat your lunch first and then it's reading time. Salim, first clean up, then you can have your book. Here are examples of when preferred items are easily accessible. Hi Salim, I got you 2 new books today to add to your collection. The staff takes Salim to the library 3 times a week, and the staff rotates books weekly to expose Salim to new material. Finally, the staff has a reading station available for Salim with a comfortable sitting space. You will sometimes want to save a few preferred activities for when a person is learning a new skill and use it to motivate them. However, it is also important for people to have access to the things they enjoy without always having to work for them. 5. Are items rotated or consistently available? Let's say that a preferred activity for a person supported is sensory play. In this example, a water bin station is always available to the individual with the same items. Over a period of time, the individual begins to simply splash the water and walks away. This could be because the individual is satiated with the same items and lacks motivation to engage even though it once was a preferred item. In a better example, a sensory station is always available to the individual. However, staff rotate the materials often. The individual continues to enjoy the sensory station in the absence of repetition. This is because he is exposed to new items that still provides him with sensory input, and he continues to look forward to it each week. If the answer to these 5 questions is yes, then you have ensured an environment that can increase participation. The environment plays an important part in our support of others, as it affects quality of life, specifically enjoyment, learning, and behavior. Enriching the environment helps keep people engaged and busy, provides more choices, increases exposure to activity and learning new things, increases opportunities for pairing of staff or new items, creates natural teaching opportunities for making choices and developing tolerance skills, and helps prevent escalation of challenging behaviors. How can an enriched environment increase participation opportunities? Think of the interest of a person you support. List all the activities that they have engaged in. Identify in the environment if those activities are available. Expand on current activities by looking at subcategories of them. And rotate activities to keep things interesting. Here's an example. If the individual you support likes to paint, this is how you could enrich the environment and attempt to increase further participation. Start by having a specific paint color to engage with in a painting activity. If the individual is showing interest, you can expand on the activity by having 2 colors that can be mixed together to get the specific color they like, offering different methods of painting, for example, using sponges, finger painting, and paintbrushes with soft bristle or hard bristles, and having different canvases or surfaces to paint on. In this scenario, Yumi is a staff working in a supported living home that is familiar with the person supported, Darius's, interests and choices. When expanding on preferred activities, it is important for staff to follow the individual's lead. In the following example, Yumi has established sensory play as Darius's most preferred activity at this time. She will engage with him during sensory play with the water bin. Let's watch. Hi there! Yumi brings over 2 small water bowls along with food coloring and puts 1 different drop of coloring in each bowl. She then places the water bowls in front of Darius. Darius looks at the colorful water and engages in water play. Which color do you want to add? You can pick one. Darius chooses his favorite colors. Wonderful selection. Let's add that to the water bin. Notice that the verbal engagement between Yumi and Darius was minimal. Yumi followed Darius's lead and continued to expand on current activities, for example water play, by looking at their subcategories, for example food coloring. Can you think of a time when you have expanded on an activity? Pay close attention to this next scenario. What things would be good to continue and what needs to be changed? Roger is 28 years old and lives in a supported living home with 5 peers. Roger doesn't say much, but listens and follows directions. He can complete some daily living skills, like toileting and feeding himself independently. He requires staff support for most hygiene routines. He enjoys watching TV, doing puzzles, listening to music, doing matching activities, and cause and effect activities. He does not like loud, unexpected noises, and spending a lot of time with others. When he is in an environment like this, he will use challenging behaviors to create space for himself. This behavior makes others leave him alone. Just because Roger does not like noise and the frequent company of others, doesn't mean he should have a bare and lonely environment. Here are some things we can do to help. Environmental changes can include soundproofing his room to minimize the noise of others, offer noise-canceling headphones for him to wear, or lowering the volume while watching TV and showing Roger how to use the remote so he can decide his preferred volume by himself. To improve and enrich his activities, continue exposure to different puzzles. For example, have puzzles with more pieces to make it more challenging over time, or puzzles with his preferred items or activities. For example, puppies, motorcycles, or pizza. At the same time, try to find other areas of interest or other options so that he is not only completing the same puzzle over and over. Rotate puzzles by bringing new puzzles in and removing old puzzles on a regular basis. Be attentive to how he may be communicating. Be in his environment and engage when he makes attempts to communicate with you. Try to avoid making the majority of your interactions you giving him instructions. You don't want that to be the only way you interact with him. Instead, you could do your own puzzle next to him, or you can watch TV with him and smile when he smiles. Let's look at another example. Darcy is 19 years old. He has recently moved to a home with 4 peers. He communicates using Proloco2Go AAC app with symbols. Proloco2Go is an easy-to-use communication app for people who cannot speak or need help being understood. Featuring natural-sounding voices, including real children's voices, Proloco2Go is a simple yet powerful AAC, which is an augmentative and alternative communication tool. Darcy's receptive communication skills are strong, and he is able to follow verbal direction provided by staff. He is able to complete some of his daily living skills, but requires support from staff in the form of verbal reminders. Darcy enjoys going to school, scootering, biking, walking, being outside, spending time with family, paper cutting and shredding, and other sensory activities and social outings. He does not like crowds, loud noises, especially high pitch, and long waits. For example, completing unpreferred tasks for long periods of time without breaks. Staff have learned that Darcy does best when he can be outside and active. Knowing this, what can they do during the coldest days of winter? Here are some suggested changes. Expand on his indoor activities. Have a variety of tasks he can do. Be prepared for him to move quickly from one thing to another, as he doesn't have the same attention span for these as he does for outdoor activities. Make sure he does not have to wait long, and reduce the noise in the house as much as possible. Some enrichment activities can be providing different craft materials than what Darcy has used before. Given that paper cutting, shredding, and ripping is a preferred activity, it would be a good idea to provide a variety of material that he can shred, cut, and tear. Furthermore, exposure to other structured activities, for example, coloring or making a collage after ripping paper, can be introduced for Darcy to engage with. One last example. Ariel is a 26-year-old and lives in a home with 2 other females. She communicates using Picture Exchange Communication System, or PECS. Ariel's receptive communication is good, and she is able to follow 2 to 3 verbal direct instructions. She is able to complete some daily living skills, such as get dressed, with minimal verbal prompts, assist with daily chores, but requires supports during hygiene routines. Ariel enjoys listening to classical music, head massages, playing catch with a weighted ball, and going for walks. Ariel does not enjoy bright lights, loud noises, and crowded spaces. Environmental changes that can be made to assist Ariel with light sensitivity is staff closing the curtains when it is too bright outside. For loud noises, offering more breaks when in a busy and/or loud environment, and providing her with headphones or closing her door when her housemates are loud. To enrich or improve some activities, staff can have multiple sensory activities available and find ways to build up the activity. For example, painting, by providing various types of material to paint on or with, and perhaps by playing classical music while she paints. She can also listen to classical music while she walks. This week, assess the environment of a person you support. What are the things that they like, and what are some things that can be removed or changed to make it better? Next week, expand on a preferred activity for a person you support in 3 different ways. Expand on neutral activity for a person you support in 3 different ways. Now that we've covered how to enrich the environment for the individuals we support, how many more ways can you come up with now? Write your responses on your datasheet. You have 30 seconds. Thanks for watching this module. Good luck, and continue to expand on ways you can enrich the environment for the people you support. Remember, with different activities, the people you support can increase participation and engagement. Exposure to different activities increases choice making too.